If there were a ladder right here and I had to go up like four steps, my heart would be like coming out my chest. So for a door to open to a plane, I be fast out before we can even get started.
Hey everyone, I'm Chris Colston here with Isaiah Tukes, Kimberly Lake, and Laria Reed, and we are Four Friends in a Book. So Four Friends in a Book is our monthly podcast series where we have a discussion centered around a book that we're reading together, and we meet here for any topics that may or may not relate to that book. So somewhat of a book club, book review mixed with just table talk amongst friends. So we're actually back for season 2. So this is our debut episode for season 2 of our podcast. If you guys are new to the channel, please go back, check out season 1, catch up with us so you can follow along with us. If you guys have been rocking with us for a while, we appreciate you guys joining today, continuing supporting us, and we just appreciate you guys. So we're gonna jump into it. Season 2, we took a little time off for the holidays, took a little break, relax, catch up on your naps, your sleep, eating good, all that good stuff. So we jumping back into a highly anticipated book. You all know him, my boy Will Smith, with his memoir, self-titled Will. We all know him from starting off with the Fresh Prince, getting into acting, rapping, Summertime, Classic Kids, Men in Black, all these different movies. We see him and Jada on the news everywhere. So we know about Will Smith, but he actually gives us a firsthand account with this book, Will. And so this is our kickoff book for this year, 2022, and for season 2 of our podcast. So let's jump into the discussion real quick. Let's get into it. So overall impressions of the book. Like, what do you think about this book? And we're gonna come to Miss Lake over here. We're gonna start with her. Kim, what were your thoughts about this book?
I'll say I really enjoyed this book. Now, I didn't read it. I listened to it on Audible. And I think it is one of the best books on Audible I've listened to. It's very interactive. The way when he talks about growing up in church, you hear the choir in the background. He's talking about DJ Jazzy Jeff, DJing. You hear the competition and the crowd cheering. So I think that part of the book was really immersive, and I really enjoyed hearing and listening to him narrate the book. Also, I think it was a really great book because he was just so open and honest. And I don't think he really left anything out. He talked about everything in the book. So I just really thought it was a really great memoir, because that's what the memoir is about, being open and honest about your life. I think the book reflected that. So I really enjoyed the book.
It's good. Good. Isaiah, what were your thoughts? Like I said, I know, man, I think you were probably the first one to kind of, get started on this book out of our crew. So what were your thoughts about this book?
Well, first, I was super excited when we chose this to be the first book for our season 2. Overall, Will is an incredible book. This book was, like Kim said, it was basically well written. I actually read the book. I learned about Will Smith's story for so long. He strategically, moved through life. And, this book connected a lot of the dots that we didn't know about his life, as his fans. And I feel that, in his writing, he was thinking about how, sharing his own struggles can help others. His tone is a very conversational tone, and he has the ability to be a storyteller because he is a, actor. And so this book was more of a page turner, and then, the other memoirs that, that I read. And I just learned so much about his family, the experiences that shaped him personality. And I just want to throw this out there. that this is basically one of my favorite memoirs. And you know how I feel about the other book that I have read. So that says a lot about, the impact that this book has had on my life.
Okay, look, man, that's pretty big. You putting Will at the top of the list.
It's a really good book.
Okay. All right, Laria, what were your thoughts, overall impressions of this book, Will by Will Smith?
Well, I feel like I'm just coming behind what everybody is saying, and I agree wholeheartedly with Kim and Isaiah because I absolutely loved it. From the first chapter to the last chapter, I was all in. I mean, and I listened to it on Audible as well, and I agree with Kim listening to the different, listening to his voice. First of all, Will Smith is an awesome storyteller. In my mind, I feel like every situation he talked about, every childhood memory, everything, I felt like I was there and I was listening. And in my mind, I could see the row houses that he talked about and being on the street playing. I mean, he was just so descriptive. It was amazing. I really enjoyed every chapter. There wasn't a part where I didn't want to listen. It was, some books kind of go up and down. His book was really steady for me. Some points, of course, I was more interested in, but I really, really liked it. Really, 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 really. It's on the top of my memoirs as well. I really loved it. So I have no complaints. I think everybody should read this book because it lets you know a lot more about him because he is like one of the best actors ever. And that didn't have to do with race. It's just period. I mean, he just is. And I loved it.
That's good. Yeah, I think you guys all bring up good points. So, we've read, the autobiography of that's good. Yeah, I think you guys all bring up good points. So, we've read, the autobiography of Malcolm X, and we looked at some other historical figures and just different accounts. I think this memoir is kind of our generation, so it really kind of speaks to us. We all know
it's true.
Will Smith from The Fresh Prince. We know him from his early rap career. We've seen him in all these movies, so it's really easy for us to really our generation to connect with him because something about him. But now you're getting this behind the scenes, and like Laria mentioned, he really does just kind of pull you in. Great writer, great storyteller. I listen on Audible as well. So him just narrating the book, throwing in sound bites and changing voices and inflections and throwing in, some of his music as well, which is a great experience. So I definitely agree with you guys. I think this was a great pick for us to start this new year off, season 2 also of our podcast. So if you guys that are watching right now, if you haven't already read or listened to this book, please go check it out. Pick it up. It's a good listen, good read. And like I said, again, it's something that you could probably really relate to because like who don't know Will Smith? I mean, everybody know Will. So like you have something to really connect to with reading his story and then getting that experience. So yeah. So even with that, so I think we got 4 thumbs up from us, 4 friends in the book, but what were you guys, I guess favorite sections of the book, or what in particular did you most identify with as you were either reading or listening to this story? What really kind of drawed you in throughout the book? And Isaiah, I'm gonna kind of start with you, brother. What were was it a particular moment or chapter or something that was said that really just made an impression for you?
The impression that was made for me was towards the end of the chapter. He was having this conversation with his therapist, and the therapist brought up like he had like that she was able to identify 2 different personas that he actually had, and the first one was Uncle Fluffy. Uncle Fluffy is basically this nice guy, which is a people pleaser, wanted to avoid conflict, had charisma, could light up any room. And he felt that if he was nice enough and entertained people enough, that he could win the approval for the people around him. And I identified with that as well, too, because sometimes I feel the same way as well. But then you have the second persona called the general. And the general does not care how you feel about them. The general basically wants to get the job done by any means necessary and doesn't seek the approval of people. And I felt that part resonated to me as well also. And, you know, as I grow up, that I try to find a balance with trying to be the people pleaser and trying to do things on my own, but do them like the correct way. So that's what I identify with him. Like, you know, I struggle with being a people pleaser as well as well, I'm going to do it my way, and it's my way or the highway. So I try to find that, you know, that equal balance.
Yeah, that's good. And I think he does do a good job. Like I said, just hearing his story, and I think it's something we can all relate to.
When will someone know that they need a coach?
If you're looking at your life and you're taking an evaluation of yourself and you're not happy with where you are and you can't seem to come up with what you need to do to become happy, then, you know, a life coach may be that individual that you need. Now, if you're just having a rut, just, you know, a week at a time, and you can kind of talk yourself out of it, or you get over that, you may not necessarily need a life coach. But when you are really stuck and you've tried this and you tried that and it's not working for you, and you just feel like you need more, then I definitely believe that a life coach would be someone that you can reach out to.
Part-time job, full-time hustle, all-time Shiro to all of us. You nurture, we listen. You teach, we thrive. You lift our spirits, but we've got to lay down the truth. It's time for you, our Shiro, to stretch for the stars. A free online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Start saving more for retirement so you can feel prepared and live your life to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
We are picking men's brains today because we're asking men questions that we want to know. Honest answers. Don't get mad at the messengers.
You're changing your looks all the time because you have to keep changing to keep his attention and to keep him from doing it. Then guess what? It's not you, it's the guy.
It's kind of reminiscent of, you know, we read the book in season 1, Wholeness, and we kind of talk about this evolution, yes, and right, even some of the stuff with, I mentioned earlier, we talked about Malcolm X and seeing his growth and his journey through life. So you see a lot of that similarities, even with Will kind of starting off with his childhood and even, you know, it's his current state of showing how he's, you know, mindsets and thought processes and how he's really, you know, put in work to kind of evolve and heal and grow into a different person. So yeah, that's good.
Right. Right.
Were there any particular stories that you identify with, in particular with the book?
It was a lot, but one that I particularly really liked out of the entire book was his two friends, his manager, and Jazzy Jeff. Because they were able to go with him all the way. And not only were they able to go with him, but he had a good enough friend to tell him the truth. He asked him, what's the goal? What are you trying to do? And, you know, this is a friend that he's known since he was a kid. So for him to be so intent with trying to make sure that he became the biggest movie star ever, and to tell him, I believe there was one role that he was offered for $10 million, but it wasn't going to set him up for what he really wanted to do. And his friend was his manager, and he would have gotten a percentage of that money, but he told him, don't take it. That's not going to be where you're trying to go. And he had his best interest in heart, and just knowing that he had good people surrounding him, which I believe is the reason why he's where he is and how he was able to get there, because he trusted him. But to have a friend like that, and I feel like I have friends like that. I feel like Kim would do me like that. She'd be like, no, I think that it would be better for you to do it this way. So it just reinforced what I've been thinking all along. You have to have good people surrounding you to be able to tell you the truth and to be able to assist you in whatever your goal is for your life. And I believe, you know, kind of like Oprah said, you can't be friends with people who want your life. and none of his friends wanted his life. Like Jazzy Jeff was a genius in his area. His friend who's his manager is a genius in his area. So they were all able to do their own things to be who they are. And so I believe that was the key to his success. I know he had good work ethic. I know he had all those things, but I think that was the one little piece that was the golden nugget for his success. And that's something that I love throughout the whole book with him talking about his friends. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, even in the book, he mentions, JL is kind of in this managerial role and kind of managing him, and he's like, Will, what do you want? And it was hard for him to really to figure it out, and he finally was able to kind of verbalize that he wanted to be the biggest, movie star in the world. And at that point, once it was said, you got the goal, you got the vision, and JL, and then along with his crew, helped him to really to work towards it and attain it. So that was good.
For me, it's the dream. Like Will Smith is a dreamer. And anytime somebody is a dreamer, I connect with them because I'm a dreamer. And so he had the dream, of course, starting out with his rap career. He stepped out and went after it, became very successful at it. And then as Laria mentioned, when his friend talked about, the dream, the goal with his acting, and he set the goal to be the biggest in the world, and he did that. So for me, that let me know, when you you have a dream, of course, but you have to have the work behind it. Like, faith without works is dead. So for him, he had the faith and the works for his dream, and it happened. So that inspired me to know that, I have a dream, and I believe I have the work as well. So, that inspired me to believe that I can achieve what I want to achieve as well. So I really connected with Will's stories when he was going after his dream and when he achieved his dreams.
That's good. Yeah, for me, it was so many, I guess, kind of moments throughout the book. I mean, even the opening of the book, Will and his brother, they kids, and his father has tasked them to build his wall. And they looking like, oh man, it's gonna be an impossible task. We ain't never gonna be able to finish this. And even the lesson learned in that, where they spending their summers, their weekends after school, working on this wall to build it up, thinking that it's an impossible task, and actually finally finishing it. And in the lesson that their father was really trying to convey was, hey, don't ever say you can't do anything. You handle it one brick at a time, and eventually you will get there. And you see that work ethic, really kind of unfold throughout his career.
What's up, everybody? This is Jason Claiborne, and you're tuned in to Tea and Worship with my sister Mignon and my brother Chris and Corey on Hope TV.
Father God, who is Chris?
Did I make up a name?
You said 3 hoes.
I said
You
three
said 3 people.
Chris, why you say Chris? Chris. Let's do it again. Oh my God. What's up, everybody? This is Jason Claiborne, and you're watching Tea and Worship with Mignon and Corey on the Hope TV. I don't know where Chris came from. Bless all the Chris's in the world right now.
If you love them enough to relearn math so you can teach them math, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
We are picking men's brains today because we're asking men questions that we want to know. Honest answers. Don't get mad at the messengers.
You're changing your looks all the time because you have to keep changing to keep his attention and to keep him from doing it. Then guess what? It's not you, it's the guy.
All right, so look, we give my boy a lot of praise, but you know we got to do it. Like we talk about all this stuff we enjoyed about the book. Oh, is this the greatest book, you know, ever? Greatest memoir? Is it really that great? Like, was there anything in the book that you just didn't really like? You like, Will said this, and I just like, nah, I can't rock with that. I was like, nah, Will, I really can't vibe with that. Was there any point whether it was about life, relationships, purpose? You know, we didn't heard about Will and Jada and these entanglements. Like, I mean, he didn't really get too far into that, but was there anything in the book that you kind of just didn't really agree with or disagree with that he kind of covered? Were there any points or areas like that in the book for you? Laria, you wanna talk about?
I mean, I didn't want to just jump out there. It was like two things. Well, relationship, that's one of the things. I think that he has I don't want to say it's a wrong view, but I don't feel that it, how should I say that? Look, I'm trying to say this in a nice way. Let me just go on and say it. Let me just go on and just say it. But he was just like, I'm not responsible for her happiness. And I think that they went into a marriage with the wrong intent from the beginning, because I don't think you should be responsible for anybody's happiness. It's like that's a result of you being who you are. I am going to be happy, but I'm not going to be happy with you on every situation. But anyway, I just, the way that he thinks about relationships, it just sounds like they're just supposed to be together because they said they're going to stay together as a married couple. But I don't know what that looks like in the long term, because it's like, so we just going to be together just to be together and do what we do. I don't know. Their relationship to me is just really weird. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Isaiah, did you have a moment, or was there anything that Will kind of touched on that you may not have been in agreement with? Like I said, whether that was just life, purpose, relationships, or anything that, like I said, we've been giving these high praises, but was there anything that you was like, I don't know about that one, Will? Did you have a moment like that?
I kind of had a moment. I don't like to talk about Will. Will, one of my favorite actors, so it's hard for me to criticize. But the relationship that he had with his ex-wife wasn't, I wouldn't say traditional, but it seems wasn't real to me. Like, she was always there with their family, but they called all each other family, and they spent Christmases together, and the conversation that they still went back and forth regarding trying to get custody of, I guess, his oldest son Trey. It was like a lot of back and forth that I don't know whether or not in his speech did he still have feelings for this lady. Like Laria said, like the relationship part, it was weird. Like, he checked the boxes on the actor and he comedian, he can write and he can do this, but as far as like the relationship part, like,
yeah,
it was weird reading that part of it. Like, do you still like this lady? Is she still always around? Is she still coming over for Christmas? And this lady is married to another man. So I'm like, I didn't see, I was missing a part. Like, if just say, if I'm married to Will Smith's ex-wife, we're not at the Smith house every single weekend and every single holiday. Like, it didn't seem normal to me, but I guess it's their normal. So I had to look at it in his eyes. So that's the only thing that weirded me out with that relationship that he still had with his ex-wife. Like, they still was combative in some parts of the book and the way that he spoke with her. So, that's the only thing that didn't resonate with me. So,
yeah. I understand that. And even as of late, that's kind of been one of the things that's been kind of contentious, I guess, areas of, this whole Will and Jada thing, is how their relationship is, how it has evolved, the August Alsina things or the entanglements, even, what they're being in a open marriage, open relationship, whatever that may be. So I think that is a piece that probably, the average person, may not be able to relate to or understand. So I can definitely understand that. And even, us as all being fans of Will and Jada, it has kind of. I think even now, like people like, look, we don't want to hear no more. Like, just stop. Like, don't listen to us.
No more interviews.
Yeah.
No more.
Right, none.
No more interviews.
Yeah. Kim, did you have a moment like that where just it was something that Will said, or even within the book, you just like, nah, I just can't rock. I can't rock with that.
It was more so, okay, I love the book, but Will himself was like, it's very exhausting. Like when he, like his drive and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I know now that he's like on his road to like healing and wholeness and all that. But I think the same perfectionist and competitiveness he had before in another way, he kind of puts that in his journey towards healing. So he does like a lot. And like for like say those ceremonies, I forgot what the drug is called that you hallucinate and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he did like 14 ceremonies. Like it's like he still has that drive to be the best, even on his road to healing. And it was just a little bit exhausting for me. So that's just the area I was just like, okay, for me, it was a little much.
Yeah. So, and that's the one thing I can do as we read or listen to the book. You kind of see the evolution of him. He was really focused about his goals and achieving this fantasy or this dream life that he envisioned, even as a child. So, wanting to be, a big movie star, like wanting to have this picture perfect family, wanting to have this ranch where everyone can live and we can all just, live and be happy together. And everything he put into trying to obtain that, and now kind of seeing that evolve a little bit and realizing that he may have, taking the wrong approach as far as trying to get that. So yeah, I can see that. For me, I guess it was, and I'm asking this question to y'all. So, because one of the things in the book was about how Will introduced Jada to his grandmother. So, basically.
Yeah, that was messed up.
Yeah. So, and I thought that was messed up too. Will was like, oh, it was funny, but so Will times Jason's lyric like perfectly. Of course, Jada's in that movie, and his grandmother is there visiting, and it's about to be her introduction to Jada. But he times the movie perfectly. So as Jada is walking in, his grandmother is watching her sex scene like on TV, and he thought that was like the funniest thing ever. And I was like, yeah, bro, that ain't how you introduce your woman to your granny. That was a bit much. What do you guys thought? Did y'all think that was funny or
no?
That wasn't funny.
Yeah,
I would have been sorry. I probably would have never talked to him again after that. Like we wouldn't have been together no more. Been like, what? Like, nope.
And so, yeah, we here now, season 2 of Four Friends in the Book podcast. Mm-hmm. If you new to the Four Friends crew, you might not be familiar, but we got this segment that we always have, which we call the rant. So it's a time period where we have a discussion uninterrupted. Well, not even a discussion. We just let somebody speak from the heart. Uninterrupted. We're not debating. We're not contesting it. Just whatever it may be, whatever on your mind, what's on your heart. And we got none other than Mr. Rant Man. He back. Season 2. I know he coming hard. I know he coming stronger. Again, we never know what we getting. So my brother Isaiah back. Premiere rant for season 2. We just have a wheel. What you got for us, brother? Starting now. Go.
So millions watch wide receiver Antonio Brown of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have a meltdown on the field. Come on, folks. AB has a problem that needs to be addressed. Wherever AB goes, he blames everyone except for himself. He is always the victim of his own and his own worst enemy. Tampa Bay actually took a chance on him when no other team in the NFL would. And every team that gave him an opportunity knew that he would explode at any moment. And AB got all these opportunities because he is a great football player. He's one of the best. And I understand that, you know, because of this is AB and the reputation, you know, that he has speaks for itself. But, you know, this still needs to be investigated, you know, into his health or what made him trigger to actually walk off the field. And AB did not just handle this situation correctly. You know, he never should have stormed off of the field and actually taken shots at his team. But this story sounds more like, you know, it was more from the, you know, the start. But many discounted, you know, his truth and went straight to the CTE of his brain. Does he have it? He may. Let's face it, life is not fair. And what makes a man special is how he handles the situation, even if, you know, things that gave him to him, you know, unfair in his life. And I think that we can all learn something, you know, from watching this situation, that instead of just placing judgment on him, let's just give him a little more grace. And that's that on that.
We all kind of be accountable for our actions, and we also need to make sure we're getting the help and the support that we need, you know, whether it's from friends, family, coworkers, teammates, whatever it may be. So, yeah, good word, brother. Good word.
That's awesome.
All right, so Four Friends in the Book podcast just wrapped up Will Smith's memoir, Will. And so, you know, we read books every month. And again, we want you guys to follow with us. We want you guys to join in and read along with us. So even with that, Isaiah, tell them about the book we have coming up for next month.
Hey guys, before we let you go, we want you to join us in our next episode as we discuss Deacon King Kong by James McBride. This book is a New York Times bestseller, and it has made, you know, multiple lists like Oprah's Book Club and one of President Barack Obama's favorite books. And now it's on the radar for Four Friends in a Book, and you don't want to miss it. Laria, when can they tune in?
You guys can watch us every third Thursday of the month at 7 p.m. And we're on all social media. I'll let them tell you all of that, but mark your calendars, third Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay?
And you can find Four Friends in a Book on Instagram and Facebook. So like and follow our pages and let us know how you're enjoying the show and interact with us on there.
Thank you, guys. And as always, we appreciate you guys joining and supporting us. Be on the lookout. We got some new things coming for season 2. You know, we might even got some new content we might be putting out. So again, follow us on all of our social media platforms, on all the podcasting services. And again, if you guys have any inputs, comments, feedback, just hit us up. We want to hear from you guys. And as always, let's continue to read, let's learn, let's grow. Let's have a discussion here on Four Friends in the Book. Thank you.
Bye.
When will someone know that they need a coach?
If you're looking at your life and you're taking an evaluation of yourself and you're not happy with where you are and you can't seem to come up with what you need to do to become happy, then, you know, a life coach may be that individual that you need. Now, if you're just having a rut, just, you know, a week at a time and you can kind of talk yourself out of it or you get over that, you may not necessarily need a life coach. But when you are really stuck and you've tried this and you tried that and it's not working for you and you just feel like you need more, then I definitely believe that a life coach would be someone that you can reach out to